Welcome to Portland, land of doinks.
Can I help you? Welcome to our little shithole. This is Doinksoft HQ.
Corporate nirvana. Look at this place. Can you trace the name Doinksoft back to his roots?
We were trying to come up with a name and just saying as many different names as possible. And then I think Joseph said Doinksoft because we were calling each other Doinks, Doink. And then all three of us just started typing it over and over and over again. And it just filled up with Doinksoft. I'm like, well, that's the one.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Just sounded right.
How do you find each other?
I think it was fate. Forehead kiss. I had moved to Oregon and I looked at Facebook and there was like a Ludo Bear game jam, which I didn't attend, but I did make a game for it. And then Britt had also made a game for it. And I kind of stalked him on Facebook a little bit. I was like, this is the guy in town that I want to be friends with. He's making the good type video game. So Britt and I were working, we had our own other company, Cowboy Color.
We would always do Ludo Bear and Gold Game Jam, online ones like that.
My story is exactly the same, except that I jumped in like 3 years after that, and I found Pig Squad, which was a game dev meetup thing in Portland. And Colin and Britt would come up, and they were making the type of video games I wanted to make. And then I followed them outside when they went out to like go have a cigarette, and I was like, hi! Pretty fucking brilliant, you know?
Step right up, step right up. We've got Joseph Bourgeois making a GOG build of Gunbrella, the video game.
So, Gato Roboto. How did it end up in the hands of Devolver?
We cold emailed.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember discussing all the reasons why they would never respond and never do it. And then I was like, let's just fucking send it anyway. Because if they say no, who cares?
So we had pitched to pretty much every other publisher. Every other publisher said, this is too much like Minute, which just came out. People can only handle one black and white game at a time. And then we emailed Devolver and they're like, oh nice, another black and white game like Minute. We're so excited.
How did the protagonist end up being a cat?
I thought that if I used a cat as the character, then when I posted GIFs on Twitter, people would make it fun.
Yeah! Brilliant. Just marketing, essentially.
Yeah.
It kind of has like almost like a cult status. I see a lot of word of mouth getting it around to people. During Gato Roboto, we did the Devolver bootleg, and that was Nigel Gold emailing us saying, hey, I've got an idea for a really funny joke. Can you do like 4 Devolver IP things for a C3 joke? And they were like, oh yeah, we can do 8.
He's like, well, we're like, we're doing 8.
And we made like a game a week or something and just busted them out.
We technically released 10 games in our first year because we did 8 bootleg games, Gato Roboto and Tomb Chef.
We've even finished the bootleg of Gato Roboto, which is Castlevania, before we finished
The actual game. Amazing.
Requesting clearance in the Doinksoft offices. Welcome back, Doink. Here.
What's the story in Demon Trop? How do you think of the decision to just do a physical game?
I mean, I personally really liked it. There's something to this digital wasteland of games.
Part of the experience we wanted people to have with Demon Throttle was to experience it like an old game. You pick it up, you like the cover, you hook the game's good, you read the instruction book, and then you play it.
There are so many physical games that still come out now that like don't have a manual or don't have stickers or all these other things that you would used to get. So people are really appreciating that about it.
Right.
Immersing themselves in the game a little more.
Yeah.
I love that game. I'd love to revisit that world.
Why isn't there a fucking demon on a motorcycle in this game? And that guy looks like he'd ride a motorcycle. Like, come on. We love those characters so much.
This is where it all began. Gunbrella for me is just one of those beautifully pure ideas where you have a gun, it's an umbrella. Is it coming out the way you want it?
I think like finishing a game is a really weird thing because you kind of decide when it's done. And this one went through like a lot of iterations of like, we know that the mechanics of the Gunbrella aren't good. We barely touched them since we first played them. How does this behave as a full game was kind of the question from there.
So Gunbrella is the biggest project you've done. Do you feel like with Gunbrella there's depth there that hasn't been in previous games?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it has like a half novel worth of text in like a really dense world where people live in this world and they're affected by all the other things that go on, which is like a big, fucked up, quirky world.
And like it's funny too, but it's dark in there, despite it being called Gunbrella.
Where did the kernel of the idea for the story come from?
Okay, you have an umbrella, so it should rain all the time. Why is it raining? Okay, it's raining because of fossil fuels and where the fossil fuel is coming from.
I like to think of it a bit as like frustration, because we had started working on it right at the beginning of the COVID pandemic, and then there was a lot of civil unrest in the States, climate change, forest fires and stuff, and I think a lot of those kind of things came into the themes of the story.
I'm glad that those themes are in there. I think luckily too, we didn't get preachy about any of the themes. It's just in there. And so at times working on the game was not fun, but I think we found ways to make it fun, remembering to have a sense of humor.
So when Gunbrella is a global smash hit, Doinks are going to come here and refurnish their corporate office. That's going to look nice in the atrium. So the look came from Brit's color palette and the style of art, eh? It's just quite different look.
At first with Gunbrella there was like a lot of brown, and then I was like, oh actually because there's so much red and brown, the way the other colors pop is really cool.
The blue and gold jump out really strongly against that. So like the cops really contrasting to like the reddish brown world.
Brett's favorite thing is to find an aesthetic and dial it up to 11.
Watching Westerns, I was watching a lot. I got like really obsessed with Peaky Blinders, that show, and I really loved the mood of that. Some of the pixel art is intentionally chosen to be a little bit sketchier than I might normally do. But yeah, I think that just kind of fit with the narrative.
We have a way more complex under the hood lighting system. It kind of gives it a more non-retro look, despite it being pixel art.
So it's like retro, but it's a type of retro that was never possible.
The price is 333. Does that mean something?
It's half the devil.
It's half the devil. Dev. What do you each do?
We both did a lot of writing on the game, map designs, composing like cutscene events, implementing localization, pretty much a little bit of everything.
I usually come up with like the aesthetic of, you know, what kind of things will look or sound like.
The core team then is you two, Brit, and who else?
Miro Morocco.
He's an animator. He's worked with us on every Doinksoft game. He's a Doink.
Yeah.
He's part of what we think of when you play his games because of the perfect way that his animations fit into our style. Like Brit can make a sprite and you see it and you're like, that looks pretty good. And then Morocco animated and like see all of the stuff that's around that single frame and brings it to life. Guillaume, I mean, he's not part of our team, but he did key art on 3 of our games. If you see a certain key art, you project that energy onto like the full character.
Did you do the music?
Yeah, me and a buddy called Hyperstep.
We have Hyperstep doing the music with Brit on Gunbrella. Really bringing the soundtrack to life. Brilliant musician.
And then on a few tracks, ZBW, who did the Demon Crawl soundtracks, they played saxophone and flute a few tracks. Jazz and industrial and ambient and future garage and break beats. And
Wow.
it's more like a movie soundtrack. And I think the whole game kind of feels more like some kind of narrative-heavy action movie.
How do you record the sound effects for Gunbrella?
I have like a field mic that I'll go out and I'll go to like somebody's workshop. You get a bunch of like random noises, recording those and layering them and processing them, like multiple staggering beats, and they're tumbleweed and pretty like ASMR like, so they're really brain squenchy and the most attention grabbing sounds I could make without just completely distracting from everything.
What kind of objects are you talking about recording that? What's the weirdest stuff?
Boiling a towel
Boiling it out.
for lava sounds.
How do you boil it out?
Like you get a wet towel, and then it boils really thick, and it's a really thick boiling sound.
That's pretty weird. You're reaching the end of Gunbrella. Are you ready to bring this one out?
Fuck yeah.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
How long have you been working on it from start to finish?
From the very initial prototype, it'll be like 4 years in maybe October. The production itself, like with Devolver, has been maybe about 2 years.
Okay.
But we worked on it for a while before it got picked up because we wanted to make sure that we had something solid.
You need to take workouts seriously. You're gonna hurt yourselves.
Shut up! Just doinking around.
So what makes a doink a doink?
I think it's a contrast between humor and darkness and fun and method. I'm gonna kill you to death. And being able to look at something and say, let's make something that's like this old game but new.
What makes you a doink?
Hey, you know, just a doink, you know? It's the doink, you know it. It's inherent.
Inherent?
Inherent. Something like that.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by contrast.
There you go.
Thank you so much.